Hi, this is Asha Saxena. I'm the founder and CEO of Women Leaders in Data and AI. And today I have Himali Kumar, IT Director at AutoZone, with me to really have this conversation around AI essentials. We all are talking about generative AI, especially the OpenAI ChatGPT platform and all the other applications that's popping up all around us. But really, what is AI? We're going to talk a little bit about how to demystify the basics and practical uses of machine learning in the real world. With that, let me introduce Himali. Himali, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, and we'll jump right into this interesting topic?
For sure. Hi, Asha. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to the discussion. I am a data enthusiast and an engineer by training. I've been in the IT profession for almost 20 plus years. Right now, I'm working for AutoZone. AutoZone is a $16 billion auto parts retail industry. We are one of the topmost in this industry. We are based out of Memphis, Tennessee, and we are in United States, Mexico, and Brazil at this point in time with 7,000 stores. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to a discussion on AI. Yes, it is on everybody's mind right now.
Especially AutoZone being a very customer-facing organization, we'll jump into the different angles, because when you're thinking about AI, AI was always developed or researched on in the lab, and all the applications we actually used in AI was really not so much customer-facing until November last year, when OpenAI came out with ChatGPT. It really had this easy to use, easy to converse front. I would say that really the interface to really interact with AI like never before. We had AI in, we were interacting with AI in Siri and Alexa, but we never really thought about it as AI, like how we think about ChatGPT now. And everybody's talking about generative AI. I would say that not a lot of people were investing in learning about AI as much as everybody's having the conversation. Do you feel that?
Yes, absolutely. I think you cannot these days have a data discussion without talking about ChatGPT. Not just data, it's in pretty much every boardroom being discussed, every executive committee being discussed. We are, even in AutoZone, we are considering how do we step into this process and then really take advantage of this whole ChatGPT generative AI movement. So it is game changing. It has put ChatGPT in words of pretty much the entire global population. It's almost become synonymous to, I would say, food and coffee at this point in time. Right.
Absolutely. I remember, listen, I've been in technology for 30 years, and I remember building applications, and we would be worried or get disappointed because our application would get shelved. And so the big initiative was, let's make sure that the customers are using it, people are adopting it. How do we educate our customer? How do we build this data culture? And now it's the opposite. The business users are coming and saying, how can we use generative AI? It's completely like tables are changed.
The tables have turned for the first time, where business is bringing solutions which initially or back in the days was thought about too innovative or too revolutionary.
Right. And I have to say that a lot of times people don't even know, but they just put AI in a box. And so everybody is now thinking about ChatGPT to be the AI. But really, if you think about artificial intelligence really encompasses multiple pieces, right? So the foundation is the data. You need good quality data. So the data is important. So when you're building AI application, the data engineering or data accessibility or data quality is important. But on top of that, you're feeding that data to the model, and that model needs training. So you now need an infrastructure where you have the training data set, you have the model sitting, and you have the deployment of that model. And then comes the accuracy, how accurate my model is to be able to perform on the data I'm feeding. And so there's multiple pieces of this. I would say the workflow of the AI model is starting from the data. At the end is really the output it's producing. Is the high quality output, is a accurate output. And we are kind of clubbing everything around data science, data engineering, analytics, the models, so everything is now going into this box of AI. So let's spend just a couple minutes on what really AI is, what are the different pieces of AI, and jump really high level into the supervised, unsupervised, reinforced learning. What is it? Do you want to maybe jump right into that?
Yes, absolutely. I always refer to. Have you heard of that Gartner? I think this is Gartner produced this descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. I
Yes.
think it's a long time ago, but I keep referring it because to me that kind of defines us how we use data for either problem solving or really sometimes even impacting our revenue, right? The bottom line, the top line, all of those. So to me, the descriptive is the lowest portion of it. We're just describing the data. Reports is describing the data. Then you move into diagnostic, where you're looking at and kind of looking at the root cause analysis. What happened here? Why did I have fluctuation or suddenly increase in sales or suddenly decrease in hours? So we're looking at that diagnostic piece of it. So until now, we are still in I would say, still in the business intelligence, right? The reporting and then the diagnostic piece, we're still into the reporting realm. But when you start to go into that whole predictive and prescriptive, when you say predictive, okay, fine, there's something happened. I came to the root cause analysis, but how do I predict in the future that this can happen? So that starts to get into this whole realm of artificial intelligence. You're kind of trying to mimic human intelligence, where this happened in the past. If the same circumstances exist again, this can happen in the future too. And then you move into the prescriptive. Okay, I could predict this is going to happen in the future, but what actions can I take for it to either not happen or make it happen, right? So
Right.
the last two, the predictive and prescriptive, really starts to fall into that whole artificial intelligence. We're trying to have our machines mimic human intelligence. What do you think, Asha? Am I going the right
Yeah, no,
direction?
you absolutely. Listen, that's what artificial intelligence. When we try to make our machines intelligent, and what I generally say is that when you think about artificial intelligence, it's kind of largely on three categories. The artificial narrow intelligence, that's machine learning. When the machines are learning from the data you're feeding, it could be supervised or unsupervised or reinforced. But artificial narrow intelligence is really where we've been right now, or we are right now, in which you're now making the machine intelligent. So for the gap from our ANI to AGI is really where we are kind of going back and forth. And I think a lot of time people would say the OpenAI ChatGPT, is it ANI or is it AGI? And I think is it narrow or is it general? And that's really where the question comes in. And always you have to think about when you're thinking about the artificial narrow intelligence, it's where the machines are learning from the data you're providing. Either it's supervised data, that means that the data is labeled, or it's unsupervised data, which means the data is learning from categorizing the data. So learning from the data that you're feeding, or reinforcement when how you're talking to the data. But I think my concern, Himali, is that when and how we will go from narrow intelligence to the general intelligence, and then when we actually take the plunge into machines will automatically becoming super intelligent. I think that is the journey. We are not there right now, and I think that's why it's important for people and the consumers to understand that we are still in the machine learning phase. A lot of the organizations are just getting into the phase where they can feed the data to the machine, so machine can actually learn from the data we feed and produce and give us and solve the problems for us, so that we are not doing the mundane jobs.
No, I think totally agree with you. And it seems like if I were to even look into that whole ANI versus AGI, as we talked about supervised and then you have unsupervised and then reinforced. So it's kind of there's also this progression, right? Supervised, we have a lot more involvement of a data scientist or a data analyst because they are engaged into labeling the data, breaking the data down between training and test, and then training the model, then testing the model. How do I reduce the false positives? How do I increase my true positives? How do I increase my accuracy? So you're still very much into the process of, very much involved in that process of model training. But then you go to unsupervised. Now you're letting machine decide what's my cluster of data. We use that in it's just a great example is estimated delivery time window. I used to work for FedEx, right? And then if I were to figure out when can Asha expect her package because she shipped it first priority or overnight priority. So some of the ways we were looking at was clustering the neighborhoods. This is the neighborhood, and this is where they have expected. This is how long it has taken to get to the estimate to the delivery. So we were predicting using unsupervised learning, using cluster-based KNN like neighborhoods to find out what's the estimated delivery time would be. I think UPS uses it really well these days. FedEx is getting there too, but that's a really good case of unsupervised learning. There was one thing my boss used to call was segment of one. So literally we can get to a segment of one using the reinforced learning. So I do see that if you start to think about that ANI to AGI, there is a progression, and reinforced learning is getting us closer to the AGI piece.
Right. Himali, I always enjoy talking to you. I'm so glad we're talking about what we actually enjoy talking about anyway. We do the work, we enjoy this conversation. Thank you for being here on this show and joining me. For the listeners, please visit CDOmagazine.tech for any additional interviews. There's lots of great content. And with that, we'll see you next time, hopefully.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Asha.
Thank you.